You know this face. You've seen my other videos. You know what this is about. But now I'm tackling something that is after the prequels, but before the original trilogy, which is Solo, a Star Wars story. So let's get into it, shall we? I'm not going to cover the archetypes because I don't really feel that it's necessary to cover that stuff. Obviously, like Beckett would be the trickster. Dryden Voss would be the shadow. The Kira would be the shapeshifter, and then so on and so forth. So it's very straightforward with the character and their archetypes. The thing I do like to point out is just a few things. There's not much I'm going to point out plot-wise, but I did like the use of a different style of the opening crawl. The thing that they use in the normal movies where you have the 3 paragraphs going through space, you pan it down, and you continue the story. But this time it was just setting up Han Solo's life and what he's been living like on Corellia, and then immediately right into the story. So it's the same thing essentially, and I did like that way. Instead of having the 3 paragraphs, it's now here's a sentence, here's a sentence, here's a sentence, go. A little bit easier. A lot of people kind of crapped on Alden's, the actor that played young Han Solo, the way he portrayed him, but I feel that he nailed a young Harrison Ford-esque type of Han Solo. You had the mannerisms, you had the cockiness, you had the swagger, you had everything that goes into Han Solo. You had him being just overly confident in his abilities and knowing that he is something that needs a ship, is essentially what it is, and all to show what he does. And then you just see it through the entire story of him becoming what we all know him to be, and when we first meet him at A New Hope. I did feel that it was unnecessary the way he got his last name. I didn't think that it was necessary to show it that way, that he gets it just because he enlists in the military. It was just a pointless little throwaway thing, kind of like what they did with Rey and the sequel trilogy with what's your last name? I don't have a last name kind of thing. I feel that it was just unnecessary, that it didn't need to happen. He could have just been Han Solo the whole time and Solo would have been his people. Kind of type of thing, but maybe it just could have been a nickname that he got, or just something along those lines, but just getting it because he has no one and he doesn't have people and he's just enlisting because the Imperial person probably thought that he was homeless, and because of the way he was dressed. He stole somebody's hat, he had some weird cloth on, so he's like, this dude's homeless, so let's just call him Han Solo and get him into the infantry, even though he's saying he's going to be a pilot. It's weird. The Chewie Han fight when they first meet really felt like Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker versus the Rancor. And I think that that's what Ron Howard was wanting whenever he was setting up that scene for them to fight. And I did feel that that was a nice little callback, because there was a few callbacks throughout this movie, and this was the biggest one that I could find and the best one that I could find that was thrown in there. You also got the mention of Bosk that you see whenever they're trying to. It was in episode 5 whenever you see Bosk and all those other bounty hunters in front of Vader, kind of thing. So I did like some of the stuff, but that Han Solo fight versus Chewbacca was brilliantly laid out. You had the suspense, you had the kind of dark noir kind of film set, and it was just something that was enjoyable, even though you did get the little wisecracks from the stormtroopers on top. I didn't really like L3, her character. I'm not saying that character is a bad character. I just felt that it was just out of place in this movie. It felt like it was people in our universe, in our Earth, trying to put together a political statement in a film that's supposed to take us out of politics. It's supposed to be us going to forget the crappy world that we live in to enjoy something else. Which is why I don't like this political culture that we're in, where we're going in and now we're getting all this stuff where it's like, you either think like I do or you don't, and we're on opposite sides and we're going to hate each other and we're going to kill each other. That's kind of what her thing felt like, in a way. Was she was just kind of thrown in to fill that political agenda, and I feel that the story could have gone on without her as a character. We could have just gotten some astromech that worked alongside Lando. We could have just had another person that ends up getting killed. You could have had Lobot why not have Lobot? That would have been a perfect callback to when we first met him, and then that would have shown how we got to where it was. I do feel that the cast that they did choose outside of her, or even with her, because the person that was behind the suit and the voicing and all that did hit a lot of spots on this checklist of great casting. And then the writing was phenomenal. I think that the way that they told this story of something that all we needed was Han gets the Falcon, Chewie and Han escape together, and then you have him winning it in a card game. That's the only necessary things we needed for this movie. But we go forward, or I'm sorry, I got sidetracked with what I was thinking of. But other than that, everything was wide open for them, and they took extreme liberties in that way, where it's her and Kira on Kessel, or not Kessel, but Corellia. And then they escape Corellia. He gets in the military. He finds Beckett. They escape. They do that job. And then Enfys Nest was kind of just like that weird in between character that was just there to throw a wrench in. Now she was the obstacle. Was Enfys Nest in this story? The obstacles, while they did happen in the movie, which was during when they were trying to escape Kessel, I feel was the obstacle portion of the narrative arc that they were going for. But I feel that she was just the constant obstacle throughout the thing, and then it kind of paid off in the end, because it kind of showed that Han Solo was the spark that made the rebellion what it was, without even wanting to do it. And then the way that they wrote this story is it left it open to where you see that he has the potential of what he becomes. So it wasn't just an automatic shutdown, kind of like they did with Revenge of the Sith. It didn't seem at the end of that movie that Anakin Skywalker could be redeemed, but in this movie you could see that Han Solo could have the potential to become that general, become that person that gets that medal at the end of A New Hope, that kind of stuff. One last thing before I wrap this up, I feel that the Darth Maul kind of cameo, for those that don't watch the TV shows, was a shocker. The last time people that just follow the cinematic universe saw Darth Maul, he was getting cut in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi and a Phantom Menace. But for those of us that watch like the Clone Wars TV show and Rebels and stuff like that, we know that he has been alive for a lot longer than this entire time. So I feel that just throwing him in, the only reason they did that was to probably set up the Darth Maul TV show, which should be coming out here in a couple years, I believe, if the rumors are true that we are getting it. I don't know if it's been confirmed or not. But I feel that that's the only reason they put him in this movie, was to set up that. And I think that they're going to take Kira and his relationship and explore it a little bit more in the TV show. Overall, I'd probably rate this movie at a good, I'd say a good 7. 7 feels like the good little spot for it. It didn't go too high, it didn't go too low. It gave us just the right amount of Han Solo. And that's my recap. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was insightful. I hope you liked the points that I pointed out, and I hope you agreed with them. And if not, I really hope that you will voice your opinions on why you did not, and why you think that what I was saying is not true and not correct. We all have our opinions, and we're all entitled to them. And I would love to hear yours. I'll catch you later.